Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another movie review. Now, because I didn't get to see Oz the Great and Powerful, I decided to go back into my my collection of films, and I realized that I had Return to Oz in that. And I remember seeing this when I was a young child, and I watched it ad nauseum. Having going back to it, I realized just how dark and ominous and downright creepy this film is. Now I do like Return to Oz, don't get me wrong. It's not so good as the original Wizard of Oz. Now granted, that's my ultimate favorite, but that and Wicked, of course. Wicked would be another favorite version of the Oz story that I have and that I really quite enjoy, and I think it's superb. This one doesn't have any singing or dancing or anything even akin to that. You've got an Oz that is completely dilapidated, it's in ruin, everything has turned upside down. And it's because the Gnome King has taken back what is his, according to his actual words in the film. And of course Dorothy is played by a new girl in this, and she does a really good job, this actress. And there are different characters that are involved that are sort of a replacement for the Tin Man and the Cowardly Lion and Scarecrow. And they're pretty obvious, but they have different issues. And of course, I don't know why, but TikTok always stuck out as a character that I really liked, because his machinations were very complex. You had to wind up his thinking and wind up his action, and he had to have both of those working, or he would just run down. And there's one point where he goes berserk because his thinking is winding down, and Dorothy has to wind him back up. I always thought that was kind of funny. It's like robot dementia. Um, I wouldn't have called it that then because I didn't know what dementia was, but basically that's what it is robot dementia. I would give Return to Oz at least 3 stars and 2 thumbs way up. I can't give it 4 because um, there's some moments in the film that are kind of annoying, like with the Wheelers. They repeat a lot. But you know, it's a children's movie, so it has to be simplistic enough for a child to actually understand where it's going. And a lot of the scenes in the film itself are still kind of frightening to me, even as an adult. Particularly Evil Queen Maroni's room of heads, and they explain that and her reason for having so many of these heads. It's downright macabre, and I never really thought of that. I thought, well, the world of Oz really shouldn't be macabre, but you know, it takes an interesting turn. And another thing that really frightened me when I was a kid were the gnomes. Of course, they're very demonic looking, coming from under the earth. But it's rather disconcerting and very unnerving seeing that. But as an adult, I can understand why they chose this particular scenery. But the claymation, I'm still just utterly in awe. I mean, even in this day and age with CGI and all of the newfangled wizardry we have in that kind of field, the claymation was ahead of its time, and it's really incredible. The puppetry too, it's just amazing. I'm still really wowed by it. I mean, they make Bellina the chicken look very realistic and believable, as you know, her ability to speak and all that. Um, this may be a cult favorite. I think it's a cult favorite because I don't know how well it did when it was originally released, but I you don't really hear a lot of Oz fans talk about it, but I still like it because of the nostalgic value of it and also the intrinsic scare factor. Um, there are quite a few things in this film that would probably make a lot of horror buffs a little bit uneasy. I mean, this is a child's film, and I know it received a G rating, but I still think it, in this day and age, it probably would have warranted a PG rating because it is very petrifying. Particularly when she encounters the Gnome King after her flight on Gump and all that. But it's really an incredible film, and it's got a good plot. But the beginning of it, it makes you wonder why did her parents send her to that asylum to begin with? That was completely unnecessary. That just always unhinged me. Um, but it does prove the point that imagination is just a wonderful thing. It truly is. Your imagination will take you places you never really thought possible. And there's a lot of spirituality involved in this, symbolicism. Um, when she's in the asylum, I noticed something. I didn't notice this the first time. When I was a child, I just noticed the scenery and the different characters and the bright colors and some of the more frightening imagery. One of the things that's on the wall in her little room, it's scripture, and I will give you rest. I think that's from Matthew. I'm not entirely sure. I know it's in every one of the Gospels, but I thought, it's very intriguing that they would put that there. How ironic that she can't sleep at night. So it was just one of those things I thought that was used as kind of a paradox in a way. And being an adult, I can actually see why they did that. And I thought that was rather clever. And there are lots of turns of phrases, and I thought that Bellina was very well done as comedic relief, and of course the other characters, Tock does too. He also has a little bit of comic relief, and Jack does. Gump does as well, but it's actually self-deprecating humor. One of the things that he says is punny. He says, "I should have quit while I was ahead," which I actually love. I just thought that was hilarious. Um, the movie is really well done. It didn't really receive the merits that the original did, because the original is just so happy and frivolous and light-hearted. Of course, there's some scary things about it, but it's not like this. This is entirely different. This is a post-apocalyptic version of Oz, but it's interesting. Dorothy is a messianic prototype. Yeah, just give me a minute. I know, let me get this review done, alright? I'll be right there. Just keep your knickers on. Anyway, that's one of my friends, and he's got his quirks, and he drives me crazy, but I tolerate him. Anyway, that's my review of Return to Oz, and if you haven't seen it, I would at least give it a shot and just sit through it and see what you think of it. And if you're a fan of the original, you'll probably be surprised, but at least see it for the nostalgic value. If nothing else, appreciate it for the artistic quality and the imagination that went into it, because I'm sure it took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to put together those claymation scenes, which absolutely leave me breathless to this day. That's impressive.